attention, please.
I think this is a good idea.
Dreams without goals.
People are getting fed up with corporate America.
I want you to get up, stand up, fight back, ask what you can do for your country. Don't call it a comeback.
All right. Good morning. Welcome to another edition of Corner Launch. My name is Jeremy Griffin. Joined here today, got my man Danny in the house as always. Bringing the love. Andrew's over there.
Ciao.
Mark's here, and he just ran out of the room. He's getting his coffee. And here he comes.
Hey, how you doing? What's up?
With TransacTrade, the crypto godfather is in the house.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's quite a title, right?
I like it.
Hey, I'll make shirts up. The Crypto Godfather. I love it.
Crypto Godfather.
Wow.
Jesus. I mean, I need to make more money because I don't know if I'm waking up to live up to that name.
Well,
Be a great thing.
Now you got a goal, right?
Now I have a goal.
Now
It's
you
all
got a
about
goal.
goal.
Watching someone get killed by a Bitcoin.
Oh my God.
All right, so for people that are not familiar, I want to break down your company, what you guys do, and then I want to get into, for a lot of the listeners, myself included, what is crypto? Okay, what's crypto? What does it do? What's going on with it? And then we'll jump into some of the more fun stuff, like how'd you get going with this?
It's a
Sure.
What are the struggles? Where are you trying to go?
Okay.
What's it like living your life these days? All that kind of
man.
stuff. So,
Crypto
tell us-
is a thing that Superman's petrified of. Oh,
Tell-
that's kryptonite. I'm sorry.
so tell us a little bit about the company.
So TransacTrade, we are founded on the idea and the hope of creating a community of brokers, traders, investors, banks, escrows, anyone or anything that's crypto related. We wanted to build a community. Kind of, if you build it, they will come. That was our primary goal. We did that. We have just over 5,000 members in our community, and the growth there has slowed down just because of the nature, the obscurity of the space that we're in. We're in the OTC space, so that's over the counter, which can be applied to so many different things. But the growth has slowed down, but that makes sense because our business has transformed and grown into something that is much, much better than we intended to be.
Which is always nice.
100%. Now, trust me, that transformation has not been super smooth. There's been a lot of valleys.
Buddy.
We're hitting some pretty strong peaks these days, so it's kind of
Awesome.
It's balancing out now finally. So.
Awesome. So, I understand that this is a very complicated. Well, maybe it's not that complicated. People like me look at crypto as it's very complicated. Give us the easiest to understand breakdown of what is it?
What is cryptocurrency? Is that the question?
Yes.
Oh wow! I'll take what is cryptocurrency for 1,000?
Yes.
Okay.
2,000. Double jeopardy.
Let's double down. All right. So that's
double.
That's a loaded question.
Double the double. It is.
That's a loaded question.
It is. But how do you explain it to people? You know what I mean?
So ultimately, I personally think that what is cryptocurrency is the wrong question when people come to
fair.
me and ask me that. I think the question is, what can cryptocurrency do for you?
Okay.
That's more impactful in our lives, and it has more use.
Gotcha.
What if I give you a definition of what cryptocurrency is? What would you do with that information?
I mean, I'd like to think hopefully I just understand it a little bit better.
And how much money will understanding it make you?
It's probably none.
None, right? So now, if I tell you how it can help you and what it can do for you,
okay,
that's useful information that you can go ahead and monetize.
Gotcha.
Right? So that's why I say that what is cryptocurrency? That's not the question that people want to ask. They want to ask, what can it do for me and how can I use it?
Interesting.
In everyday life. That's just my way of looking at it.
Well, you've been perfecting the pitch for a few years now, so I'm not surprised that you moved from that straight into what are the benefits there, right?
I have an answer for that. Just find yourself a millennial that loves cryptocurrency, and that's it.
that works too.
Because they're ahead of the curve, and they're making it happen. They're making it happen, and it's just going, and they're just making kids all over the place. And they're like gunslingers, these kids. They're not afraid of anything. They're just throwing money into coins, and It just keeps happening. It's wild.
Andrew, what do you think? Andrew, what are your thoughts? Because you're
you got me on my Webull account right now, so
okay.
I was more of a stocks guy. I've bought like crypto before. I did Bitcoin. I bought Bitcoin at 30K and sold it at 40K, profited. I bought Doge at whatever the hell it was and sold it at 5 cents, so that was like a 300% profit. But I just like have never like, I don't know, maybe it's just like, I feel like it's just one of those other things, and it's like anything else in America, like however people value it is like what they'll pay for it type of thing. And I don't know, like how long is it going to be that valuable that like it replaces, like, I'm not saying it replaces, but like precious metals like silver and gold and stuff like that.
Sure. So you just touched on a lot. We can actually address some of the things you just. I don't know if you even realized the things that you just touched on.
No, I definitely didn't.
So we can get to all that as far as the value, stability of the coin, use of the coin. That's also known as utility.
Yeah.
We can get into all that. How does it compare against precious metals, stones? How does it compare against the dollar? Gold? Those are all great questions, right? Let's just talk about, if you want to do a comparison, microeconomics versus macro. You're a macro, we're still a micro.
Okay.
So what is cryptocurrency? Let's go back to that question. Well, cryptocurrency is a form of payment. It's also a way to transfer information, whether it be in smart contracts, whether it be in other aspects of I work with a guy, a CEO of an exchange out of Malaysia, and I didn't get his permission to plug him here, but he's a genius, and I know a couple of those people, but he actually was on CNBC in India because his actually, this answer is going to lead into another part of your question, by the way. He used blockchain technology and cryptocurrency. Now, they have their own stable coin. You messaged me the other day. You said, how do you create your own cryptocurrency? How do you have your own?
We were talking about
Jeremy,
that last year.
Jeremy's anything but stable. So
100%. So the question is, how do I create my own unstable coin?
The high volatility coin.
Right.
That's the Jeremy coin.
That's the volatility right here.
High volatility coin.
right here.
Brought to you by Startup Street.
SEC regulated.
Oh my God. Anyway, so he created an actual a way for COVID tests to be delivered instantly. You take the test in a matter of seconds. You'll have your results via blockchain and cryptocurrency. And so the question you asked, what is cryptocurrency, it has a million different answers. That's why I said what most the questions you want to ask is, what can it do for me, and how can I leverage its value?
Gotcha. So jump into that. When somebody asks me that,
Listen,
right?
here's the way I just started doing the crypto thing. My son's into it big time. Our friend Wesley, which is probably is your head still on the pillow? Or are you actually driving?
I can't make the week.
Anyway,
I've heard so many great things about him. Like who?
And he I don't know where he is.
He doesn't exist.
Is he here in
It's
energy form?
like who is John Galt? Right?
Listen.
Who is Wesley Paris?
If we were doing the show at 1 a.m, he'd be here. He would be early actually, but he sleeps until noon.
Oh, does he? Hey,
He's a great guy. But anyway, here's the way I look at it.
What do they say? Sleep is a cousin of death.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I look at it as something that basically the government can't wrap themselves around it yet.
Decentralized.
Because it's like there's no way to really control it, track it, and everything else yet. I'm sure they're working on stuff like that. So anyway, there's so many different ways. But the thing is, it's the type of thing that you can invest $1,000 in, just forget about it, and you can wake up a multimillionaire. That's what's so intriguing about cryptocurrency.
Right.
It's a volatile thing.
So let me define that.
Go ahead.
Because that's not necessarily true. And I really don't want the listeners to go ahead and invest $1,000 in Bitcoin, and next thing you know, they lose half of it tomorrow because Danny said that, because that's partially true. It's an asset, right? Look at it just like any other stock. Okay, you don't need to know what a coin is comprised of. You don't need to know the algorithm of how a coin is created. You don't need to know that. That has no value to you. Who cares? What you need to know is that the same rules, a lot of the same rules that apply to traditional stocks and stock markets as we see it today, apply to cryptocurrency. Supply and demand and utility.
Yep.
All those top three things: supply, demand, utility. Supply, demand, utility.
Yep.
That's it. That's all you need to know. Do you need to know if you want to dive deeper in and figure out what's going on, who's doing what? Cool, knock yourself out, bro. But at the end of the day, it's an asset just like any other traditional stock.
Yeah, and they're very news ridden. They are at least like you see. Just obviously it was the most cliche example with the whole Doge and Elon pumping the shit out of it, but he pumped the shit out of it. Let's be honest, that's what happened.
I just
That's
bought
exactly
Doge
what
last night.
happened.
Yeah, I got 11,000 shares of Doge.
I bought $1,000 worth.
The dog. You got 11,000 shares of the dog coin.
Yeah, I mean, what's the worst that can happen? I'm like, Jesus.
Listen, he's talking about it.
Why not?
Cuban's talking about it. Cuban already said he sold $6 billion worth of Dogecoin, merchandise, jerseys, all that. So if he sells another one of this could go to $1. I bought it at 5 cents. So,
you're rich.
so what's the
rich.
risk and what's the reward? I mean,
Here
the
we
reward.
go. Here we go. Where's my Doge? Let's look at my Doge.
I owned it back when it was freaking 1/10 of a cent, and I was like, I can't have my money in Robinhood.
There it is.
Right.
11,600 shares, baby.
What's it at now?
It's
Well, it's not shares, it's
This is what
coins,
we're
right?
doing.
well, coins.
11,000
coins.
coins.
You got me talking in your language. It's coins. You're
I
right.
didn't-
I beat my wife up all the time. She always wants to. Remember I talked to you about compartmentalization? Just want to make sure that we're on the same page there.
Is that your life coach you're talking to over
She
there?
is my life coach as of right now.
How's it going?
No, so listen. You misunderstood my comment.
Sure.
My comment was you can't in the stock market. You can't really invest $1,000 and within 6 months to a year make the kind of returns you can. And one of the guys that's coming here and some of the other people, okay, they've had these stories from rags to riches that happened within 8 months. Like they made a minimal investment in the coin. It's like a crapshoot, but the coin took off and they made literally, thousands and thousands of dollars.
So you're right. In theory, you can't do that. There's no stock besides the whole GME scenario. Like
AMC, I was in at $2.30.
That's an anomaly. That doesn't happen every day.
Yeah.
What's your prediction on what's the next GME? Let's get one.
I got it. I got a couple.
Andrew's got them.
The
for
lines
you.
are open.
Yeah.
We're taking
Yeah.
callers.
That's actually blown up in my face countless times.
Oh yeah, I was good. That's a horrible move to do, right?
So you're right. It's very volatile, and fortunately, as you and I, Danny, were talking offline, I do believe that cryptocurrency as a whole, but specifically Bitcoin, is still in its infancy stage. I would say more. Okay, let me rephrase that. More like a toddler right now. Like
Yeah.
the infancy stage has been the last 7 years.
Yeah.
Right.
There's so much room for growth. There's so much room for utility. The cool thing about Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies is governments are figuring it out. They are figuring out not only how to make money on it, but how to use it, because it does so many more things. There's all sorts of information that you can capture and put into the transfer of anything on the blockchain and have it be completely private. And no one knows, no one can break that code. I mean, unless you are one of the world's top 3 hackers.
Right.
Tell that to the poor bastard that threw his codes in the landfill, and he's got $50 million worth of Bitcoin, and he offered to pay the town $1 million to go through the landfill to find his codes.
I mean,
and they won't
where's
let
my
him,
shovel?
They won't let him do it. But they won't let him do it. He's got $50 million in Bitcoin. He can't even go there to find his codes.
Oh man, I mean
I've heard stories about this. That's heartbreaking.
Is it?
That's hard.
I think that's punch facing.
Well,
If
if
you
you're
bought
that-
Bitcoin
Listen,
10 years ago,
if you're that stupid that you don't have it written down in 3 or 4
Yeah.
or
places,
face punching. That's what that is.
right? If
Yeah.
you're that stupid, you don't have it written down in 3 or 4 places, then
So yeah, man, it's just like anything else. So I had my daughter when I had one of my buddies come to the hospital when she was born, and this guy, he had 3 kids at the time. Okay, now since then he has 3 more, so it's a total of 6 kids. He's like, listen, Mark, man, we were right at Tampa. I was here. My daughter was born in Tampa. We were right at Tampa General. So we go for a walk outside the hospital. He's like, listen, man, there's one thing you need to know. Everybody's gonna tell you how to raise your kid. They're going to tell you this and that, feed them this, feed them that. He goes, you have one thing to do. I said, what's that? Keep your baby alive. And so if you keep your baby alive, everything else will fall into place. So my point, like, what is he talking about? Keeping babies alive and related to a crypto wallet? Listen, if you have Bitcoin on a cold wallet, you need to know exactly where that code is, the password is, the public key at all times. Use that as an analogy. Keep your baby alive. Don't lose your freaking password. Yeah. Right? So keep your baby alive.
Don't give it to somebody else.
Don't give it to anybody else. But write it down and put it in 3 places. So if I have to get into this cold wallet is my baby. Right? Yeah. And how do I keep this baby alive? I have to always be able to get into it. Well, how do I always get into it? By the public key and the password. So write it down in 3 different places. Give it to someone you love. Give it to your mom, your grandmother, whoever. But don't lose that key because that's the only.
That's everything.
That's it. That's the key.
There's not exactly a 1-800 customer service number you can call to
get
it.
No,
after
you're done.
Bitcoin back.
You're done. There's no do-overs or that's
Call
it.
up the Mr. Bitcoin Foundation
So
Corporation.
you get the analogy? Keep your baby alive. So
let me ask you this. This is a fascinating question.
According
Who started
to you,
this?
it is.
Nakamoto Satoshi.
Has anybody actually ever interviewed this guy?
He at this point is a avatar, in my opinion.
Right. That's what I'm saying, right?
He's gone.
He's an avatar in an orange jumpsuit. He needs one of these bands.
Yeah, he does need one of these bands. So I'm gonna tell you something. Here's the interesting thing about these bands, this black band. I'm gonna do a little plug. James Coley, he's here in Tampa, Florida. Actually, he's a exercise workout guru. The guy's a beast.
Cool. We'll get him in here.
You should. He's awesome. Great guy. He's paid for the Hurricanes. I think he did a short stint in NFL. Great guy. So I buy my CMOS and some other gear from him. Just workout gear. Okay. I don't know if you guys realize I'm a beast. Did you see that workout out there? That was crazy. It was intense, right? I was getting it.
That wasn't bad for 6 pounds. I've never seen anybody work 6 pounds.
Your life coach is shaking her head over there.
Okay, so look.
I'll get the bands later.
Okay.
All right, so listen. Let's cut to the chase. Anyway, you have this unbelievable thing, and the most intriguing thing to me about it is the upside is so tremendous of what it could possibly be. The other thing is I've never in my life seen anything with so many people talking about it and so many young people involved in it and so many people going back and forth and they're just glued to what coin and trying to figure out what's going to be the next 100-fold coin or the next Bitcoin. You know what I mean? So it's the whole thing is intriguing to me. It is anyway. Because it's like you have all these people. I mean, and this is a
gold rush.
This is it is a gold rush.
Ding, 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 ding.
Ding. So the interesting, my son's hot on a coin called Icon, and I'm sure you know what Icon is. It's a South Korean coin, but since the coin started, they're using it for public transportation, restaurants, and now in South Korea, the government's plugging it, and they're trying to make it like an actual form of currency that they use it for everything over there. So the upside in that coin, if that really comes to fruition, could be absolutely huge, but we don't know that. But the interesting thing is the stories, and then I have a friend that actually put $4,000 into Chainlink as a promotional thing. It was at 4 cents, and they sold it at 20 because they get nervous. And the coin actually is at what, 30 now?
Oh wow!
Right.
I mean, it's still made out pretty good.
So for $4,000 investment, if they hung on to that, they'd be worth $2.9 million. And the other guy had 30 grand in it; he'd be worth $22 million. Wow. I mean, and then there's the story where there's a guy that had he had a business. He had a lot of rental properties. And one of the properties he lives in was freezing. He lived up in a really cold area of the world, and he was fascinated by cryptocurrency, so he went and bought a machine, and they never delivered it to him. So he got in his car and drove all the machine guys, and they were taking the machines and mining coins, and then sending them to people 4 months later after they had mined a shitload of coins, and then they were sending them out. So he ended up with I don't know how many machines, but he mined almost 2,000 Bitcoins. So as of now, he's worth about $100 million. I mean, where can you do that? I mean, it's just, it's insanity how it's changing people's lives. It's insanity how volatile it is, and it's insane how many people are talking about it.
Yeah, listen, man, it's the new thing. Everything you just said is 100% accurate, by the way, in regards to the excitement wrapped around cryptocurrency. Here's a cool thing that I think crypto is doing that a lot of people don't realize. what cryptocurrency has done is it's opened the eyes of all investors. Not only in the cryptocurrency world, but they tell you know what am I paying Joe Schmo on Wall Street to do for me exactly? And with all these applications and this access that I now have, I can actually learn it and take a closer look at it myself. And I think that's really, really cool. If you think about how at the core, cryptocurrency and blockchain technology is decentralized, where it's an open market, right? And it's a wild, wild west, which is cool, but not that cool because a lot of people died in the wild, wild west. But what's really cool is, in a way, because it's making people think, it's making their wheels turn and think about the traditional stock market. It's almost kind of breaking that code. It's almost kind of decentralizing that in a way, in a sense, giving the actual investor more power and more strength.
Hence the GME
Yeah.
thing that happened.
Exactly.
And all
Yeah.
that, and
100%.
And at the end of the day, listen,
100%.
we need to be smarter human beings in every capacity, in every realm, in every tier, in every vertical of our lives. The smarter we are, in theory, the better things will be, right? So if we're, as a unit, bigger, better, stronger, smarter, our life's going to be better for all of us.
Yeah,
again,
right.
In theory. So people need to stop looking at some point, the volatility will definitely slow down. Right,
and the growth slows down with that too.
And the growth slows down with that too.
Yeah.
Just like any big tech stock, Apple,
But
Microsoft.
here's
Think about when they were
here's the
little. They're like,
intriguing thing. These coins level the playing field. And what I mean by level the playing field is if you're traditionally in the stock market, if you want to make a shitload of money, you got to be able to invest a ton of money like the big boys do.
Yeah.
Okay, with a coin, you can put minimal in and all of a sudden you wake up one day and you're literally a millionaire.
100%.
Okay. Now I traditionally had a 401k when I had my company, and I was putting money into it every month, and I had a broker, and that's why they call them brokers, because they fucking make you broker.
Wow.
So the only things I ever got that were good they were never good. Buy Boston Chicken, buy Royal Bank of Scotland. And I look at the guy, says, well, why would I want to buy a banking stock? I says, because the real estate's attached to it, and if the plug falls out, Royal Bank of Scotland has no real estate. So that's what he tells me. And then I go home, and all of a sudden I lose $30,000, and because Royal Bank of Scotland was in a banking system in the Midwest that owned a shitload of real estate. It was like a subsidiary of their parent company, and I lost my $30,000.
Yeah, man. Listen, that sounds like a friend you have to cut off.
He actually died.
Oh, did he? I mean, so
he had a massive heart attack at his desk.
The universe took care of him for you. The universe realized that
I'm
was
not
not.
laughing that he died. I'm just,
I hear you.
Yeah,
I hear you.
God rest his soul, man. I hope the best.
So in terms of the volatility and stuff like that, I know one of the things that you wanted to talk about was like compliance with what it is that you do, right?
Yeah, Jeremy, I love talking about compliance.
Yeah, right.
he's a gunslinger and a weightlifter. You saw it.
Yeah.
No.
So I mean, like, what's it like trying to run this company? You know what I mean? Like,
so listen, man. Running a cryptocurrency company and staying within the lines is just as easy as being a good person. I think I'm a good person. And with that, what I mean by that is it's not hard to do what's right. So compliance, laws, and rules and regulations. Not only
are they increasing a lot, like rapidly? With the is it keeping up with the growth? Where it's like, you know, the more this thing takes off, the more rules and regulations that are coming down on it, or is it still, you know what I mean?
Right now, a lot of rules and regulations are still in the making.
Gotcha.
Listen, I'm a minnow in a very, very large pond, and so knock on wood, I don't think anyone's worried about what Mark-Anthony at TransacTrade is doing. They're worried about the big boys,
right?
And just to answer your question directly, we stay within the lines of compliance regulation. And the reason why we do that, because that's the right thing to do. So every client that we interact with, whether it be a broker, whether it be a customer, whether it be a bank, we require a full KYC. That's a know your client. They do that by filling out a CIS application. That's a customer information sheet with supporting documents, of course. So articles of incorporation, EIN certificate. We put all of our those people in a database to make sure they're not terrorists or doing bad things like selling children or other just lists of bad things. So everyone that we work with goes through a relatively rigorous onboarding process. First of all, we don't want to work with people who are doing illegal activity.
Right.
One, but two, we also just want to make sure we stay within the bounds of compliance. While we're a small entity in a huge pond, when we do grow and we get larger, we want to make sure that we don't have any issues let's just say we go public one day. Let's just say if we decide to incorporate a board, we want to make sure that we have all of our ducks in a row, if you will, to make sure we can grow we can grow seamlessly. So compliance is, most people don't like it, but again, like I said, it's easy to stay compliant when you do the right thing.
Do you find it interesting, because this is a question I have, do you find it interesting that all the major players have, for the last year, have been denying they've even been buying cryptocurrency, and they're all buying it behind the scenes? Buffett's buying it. They're all buying it. So, but they really
people
but
lie,
they, no, but they really no. The interesting thing is none of them want, because they all said that it was a joke, it was a farce, it was this, is that. They don't want to have this stigma attached to them. But yet they've been buying $1 billion worth of crypto behind the scenes, and now it comes to light that Buffett has it, they all have it, and they've been buying boatloads of it. And I just find it fascinating that they would lie about that for the last year, about actually being involved in it, and now they come to find out they all own it.
Am I surprised? 100% not.
Yeah.
I think there's a bit of politics that's involved with that. These people have major stakes in major corporations that are, whether it be anti-crypto or anti-progression. I think for the most part, people are good, right? I would say at least 80% of the people in this room are good.
Yeah.
There's a couple.
Jesus, that's not too good, guys. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
Duck, goose.
Yeah, eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
So 3 of us are bad in this group.
Yeah, I would go with that.
And they're all on one side of the table.
I would go with
He's
that.
like, yeah, I'm comfortable with that. I know people well enough that I'm comfortable with that. So when you're saying that it's not so much what crypto is as much as what it does, okay?
What it can do for you, right?
Yes.
Right. So give everybody 3 things that you've seen over the last maybe 6 months, maybe the last 2 weeks, the last year. 3 interesting things that you can do with it that benefits people.
So I think I already spoke about 2. One was our partner who owns he owns actually 12 exchanges worldwide, but the primary, the headquarters in Malaysia. He found a way to transfer COVID rapid test information and results.
That was pretty clever.
Like instantly. That's insane. The use of smart contracts. Smart track, like people have known what that's been out. It's been out for years.
Right.
No one really knew what it meant. People just it was kind of like a buzzword, if you will. And just to speak to what Danny said, I think it's really cool that there is a way out there, that there's a way for people to make conscious investments into something, and the next morning they can wake up and they become millionaires.
Right.
Other than that, I mean, there's countless ways. It all depends on what you're doing as an entity. How can Startup Street create a cryptocurrency?
He wants to have his own coin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So we don't have to pay for the coffee anymore. Get Panera to take our coin.
Yeah.
It'd be perfect.
Listen, I can make a couple phone calls and we can get you a coin.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very honest about this too, and that I don't really understand it a lot.
You don't need to.
I just know there's a lot of hype around it. I like hype.
Well,
I like his answer. You don't
listen,
need to.
I have the perfect solution. Go to an elementary school this afternoon and take a chart with all the coins on it and give the kids darts. And wherever the darts land, those are the coins you buy.
Yeah, or
You got just as good a chance as making a ton of money if you go and,
Well,
in a way you do. Seriously.
well, it's not that rudimentary, but
nice if it was.
I like where your head's at, Danny. You see that? You call me the gunslinger. It takes one to know one, brother.
No, listen.
That would be a
listen.
great promotional tactic.
I-
Let's see what next month's decisions are.
I
There we go.
listen. Hey, One time on TV, they actually brought in.
The balance sheet's not looking quite as good as it was.
One time they had an experiment. They brought in, I think it was on 60 Minutes. They brought in actual experts from Wall Street into a second grade class, and they had the kids pick the stocks and had the thing, and the kids outperformed the guys on Wall Street.
Really?
So it's unbelievable.
Well,
because you really don't know.
I mean,
some people know more than others.
Yeah.
No,
it's called insider trading.
Well, it's the same thing in that, like, I think that, like, with the stock stuff, legal, finance, medical, science, we tend to put these people up on these pedestals, right? And they're all just people. And it's the same as every other industry where, like, 80% of them are actually kind of bad at their job. And then 20% are good.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's the same thing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I have no doubt that some second graders did outperform some traders, but they're not all created equal.
And it's
you know?
They are not. You're
a lot of it
right.
is the marketing behind what they're doing.
100%. So I want to make this one. I think it might not have come across too clear. We are consultants at TransacTrade. We help connect you with the people who you need to be connected with in order for you to make the right decision. Just to make sure to clear that we are not licensed brokers. We are not here to give you financial advice. We are just here to help you connect you to the right person so you can make your best decision. Cool. So I just want to go ahead and make that clear.
You guys really are gunslingers. I love that about you.
Hey, listen, man. We do what we can.
All right, hold on one second. Wesley, come in here because you're the he's our second expert is here.
This is
him. This is Mr.
Hey, the mysterious Wesley.
This is
what's going on, man? How you doing?
This is Mr. Crypto in the flesh.
Hey, how's it going,
Mr.
everybody?
Crypto.
Wes, nice you get up. The show doesn't stop for another 10 minutes.
He's super light skinned. We're talking about you, like about light skin versus dark skinned brothers.
He was having a dream.
There's a war happening right now.
Yeah, I know.
He was having a dream. Hey, listen,
Make sure you're talking to Mike.
He's late because he was in a dream that V-Chain went to 300 this morning.
Oh man.
Yeah. So Mark, we got about another 10 minutes or so.
Okay.
How did you build all this? Take us through that story. What was life like at that point?
So I was, as you know, I owned a company here in Tampa, Tampa Bay Delivered, and it was
Tampa Bay Delivered.
Yeah, I had bought 911. I was here for like 18 years, mom and pop shop, and I was able to buy my partner out, and then I was able to liquidate or pretty much sell my database to a local company. I can't really talk about it right now, but offline we can have that discussion. And then I had about $500,000 in the bank at 32, and no responsibilities except staying alive. And I did a lot of bad things to my body.
And he's smiling. He's very proud of this.
Yeah, no, it was great, man. I did a lot of bad things to my body, and thank God I made it out alive. I didn't work for about 3 years. Again, and I said I had a lot of fun. And I did a lot of bad/good things. But that was definitely one of the worst decisions I ever could make in my life by having such a liquid amount of cash and not doing anything productive with it at all.
When you're young, that much cash can mess you up. You know that.
Again, I didn't come out with a drug habit or extra kids. Like everything was fine.
Right. No child support.
I have no child support. I came out alive, thankfully, and I met my current baby mama. Shout out, what's up, Rach? And had our beautiful daughter Carmela. And it's funny, true story. I'm sitting at her kitchen table, and I'm like redoing my resume. She's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I didn't get a job." She's like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "I told you, I'm not independently wealthy." Because at the time, we were going out and eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner religiously every single day. And she was like, "Oh yeah, right." She legit thought like I was just rich kid.
Right.
And like,
you must have a trust somewhere that is pulling on or something.
Yeah. And so when she gets pregnant, I was actually, I know you guys know I'm a dork, and I know you know I'm a dork, but I now have corrective lenses, Jeremy, because I used to wear Coke bottles, and I still do sometimes, but at least they're Pradas. Anyways.
You wear those to the initial meetings, right?
Yeah,
so you look very proper.
100%.
So I just have one question.
Well, hold on.
What was Bitcoin at when you get that 500 G's in your pocket?
I didn't even know what Bitcoin was.
Oh, okay.
So I have a minor in accounting, and I was working for this sales and use tax consulting firm out of McMinnville, Oregon, and I was running their shop down in Clearwater. And I was online on LinkedIn, and I'm going to give a shout out to Leslie Knight, a good old friend of mine. She was the area vice president at Veritas. Veritas is a locally owned tech staffing company that sold out to Hayes. Hayes is the world's third largest staffing firm. Okay. And the ad was a strategic account executive in New York City. And I had no other, I was either going to call Leslie and just make this happen, or I was going to sit in Tampa and be broke for a while and try to have a baby and fall into that gap of just bad things, or just hardships, right? Or just larger challenges. Called Leslie. I was like, Leslie, she'd actually staffed a couple of my buddies, my partner Brett I was telling you about, Melissa, and my other buddy Tim. So she had been in staffing, so she knew me and she knew us. And she's like, oh my God, she's like, so she always told me I'd be great at tech staffing. And I was like, well, I was like, Leslie, is this? I randomly reached out to her. I haven't talked to her in probably a few months, if not a year or so. And I said, Leslie, is this a role you thought I'd be good at? She goes, oh my God. She's like, aren't you from New York? I'm like, yeah. Long story short, I get the job in New York City. In New York City, in tech staffing or any job really, if you don't go out and network, then you're probably just going to fail. Right. Just to be honest with you.
Wither away.
You wither away. So I quickly realized that I had to start doing some serious networking. So I actually joined Business Network International. It's BNI. It's one of the world's largest business. And I was on a committee for about a year and a half. Met a lot of major my current day attorney, business and personal. My current day accountant. I met are all in my chapter. With that, I'd also go to some other different events. And I met this guy named Chris Andrews. Chris Andrews is my current day financial advisor. Chris and I became networking partners. So one morning I get an email from this guy named Bill Pincus. Bill Pincus is the coordinator for, I know I'm running out of time, so I'm going to shorten it up for you guys. Bill Pincus is the coordinator for Let
me tell you a little bit about Bill Pincus. So, Bill grew up in Texas as a young boy.
No, it's all going to come together.
Come on, he's only got 10 minutes. Let him go.
Yeah. So Bill Pincus is the coordinator for Golf Network. They incorporate a golfing outage membership at a club with business networking, and it's called the Golf Network. So Bill Pincus, he's like, oh, I heard about you. Your name's bounced around here and there, blah blah blah. I'm like, whatever, bro. Like, how do you know me? Like, there's no way you know me. Right. So anyway, he's like, well, I want to invite you to our event tonight, and the event was an event that they're bringing awareness to the Malaysian sex trade, and something else. I forgot what the other thing else was. Anyways, I met this woman there by the name of Lucia Kaiser. She's like a B-class celebrity from the 80s. Super interesting woman. She's literally might be the most interesting person I've met in my life. She was also the chief financial officer for the Bruce Lee Foundation. Like they had a huge ceremony. You know that building in every New York City movie from the 80s and 90s where they show the columns, that building? Mm-hmm. It's like the Wall Street building, kind of like. They had a ceremony in that building to transfer like the power of CFO to the new guy, from her to the new guy. And I'm like, who are you, Lucia? Like, what is going on? Right. Like you knew Bruce Lee? Like it's nuts. So anyway, Lucia calls me up one random day. Her and I hit it off. She's like, she sends me a text on a Saturday night, and she's like, I don't know if this is your wheelhouse, but can you find me 1 million Bitcoin?
Right.
That text message from Lucia Kaiser is 1,000% how TransacTrade got started.
And that changed your life.
100%.
So if the audience out there wants to know, if you want to get into Bitcoin, what's the best way to go about it? How do people get started that are not in it, that have been curious about it, but have been afraid to take the step and,
Sure. We had a lot of fun on this whole scenario. And I like you adulting right now. That's really good. Good job, Danny.
I'm an adulter.
Listen, our consultancy and abilities range from retail to institutional clients. At the end of the day, if you want to get in touch with us, you can go to http://transacttrade.com. You can also just call me, 813-727-2011. I'm happy to take their calls and help anyone get started and point them in the right direction. Real quick, Infinite Technology Solutions. MSP, PPE, and security coming at you real soon. Just want to make sure that we all know that
Something you're launching?
we are launching. The website's supposed to be done today, but it's not. So I was kind of hesitant on whether or not to plug it. But it's coming. It's coming at you real.
What do you want to talk about? What that's going to be, or you want to hold off on that?
No, we can go ahead. I can narrow it down. So there's 3 verticals. We do managed services. So that's managed IT support, network engineering, system engineering, collaboration, technology staffing. Second vertical is PPE, gloves, gowns, caps, masks, and anything else that's personal protection equipment. The third tier is security. So that's commercial and residential. We actually have 2 of the world's largest security vendors bidding for us right now in our business. So that's coming. We are very, very happy.
Who did you meet to get going with all that?
Everything that I just said with Infinite Technology Solutions, believe it or not, I've done. Every single thing I just said.
Listen,
You're basically combining your history.
Exactly.
3 main things into one company.
Yeah.
If you're doing the PPE is like buying cryptocurrency, because I know people that got into it, made hundreds of thousands of dollars, and then when the supply caught up with the demand, there's warehouses full of this shit all over the place.
I need supply.
That I can get it for you for pennies on the dollar, and that's what I do.
You know what, Danny? One thing you said to me.
I'm like Robin Hood. I steal from the rich and give to the poor.
When you first met me outside,
Yep.
you said we're gonna be friends. That's the first thing you said to me. And
It-
I co-signed that. I didn't co-sign that first.
It was a smile, brother, and the way you were struggling with that 6 pounds.
Oh man. Well, no, I'm used to picking up 6 pounds.
No, you were great.
If you know what I mean.
So anyway, before we leave, let's get Wes on board, because Wes is the only guy that I know that is incredibly knowledgeable on coins and how much study he does. He studies everything, which is very impressive. He's like my son. He knows everything about all these different coins.
There's a new coin that comes out every single day, every single week, and I stay up till 2 a.m. trying to find the next coin that's going to 10 or 20x.
It's the Startup Street coin. That's
Yeah.
going to
Wow.
be the next one,
Yeah.
okay?
Oh man.
Yeah, let's do an ICO.
Where you been, man?
Or an IFO.
Yeah.
That's what it's called.
It changes every year.
That's what it's called in crypto, an IFO.
ICO, then IEO, then IFO.
They won't just call it IPO.
Yeah.
They just
So
can't do
Wes,
it.
An IFO.
Yeah.
Wesley, I'm gonna tell you something, man. Like, I honestly, because there's been a lot of hype and build up about you.
Okay.
First of all, if we're gonna be friends, you gotta wake up earlier. Period.
Maybe on a Tuesday.
Yeah. Okay. Well, listen.
But seriously, at 2 o'clock in the morning, dude, while you're sleeping, listen, dude, if you're sleeping at 2 in the morning and he's researching, you know something good's gonna come out of
okay.
it.
Maybe I gotta acclimate to your schedule. We can talk about that. I like your shorts, by the way.
Yeah, we're both wearing the same
It's meant to be. It's meant to be.
It's another Startup Street miracle.
But so Wes, talk about what's happening in your life. I don't know if you want to share share the chain link story or something. Give him a minute. Give him a minute to go through real quick.
Oh, sure.
All right.
Because he knows so much. He's so knowledgeable
We're
about
going
this.
through the biggest bull run ever. I mean, if you missed the .com bubble, this is it. This is your chance. If you didn't get rich off of Amazon, off of Netflix, off those stocks, this is your chance. And it may not come around too often. I mean, this is really the 3rd or 4th bull run in crypto. So I mean, you know, as this thing matures, the gains become less and less and less. So if there's not going to be a day where you can make like a 10x or a 20x in like a month.
Yeah.
So take advantage right now, but you got to do your research because 95% of crypto are scams.
He's not wrong. Actually, this is the 3rd or 4th bull run this year.
Yeah.
Overall, it's about 5 or 6 bull runs, maybe 7. But he's right. And listen, I don't like to give that type of advice to people because I don't want to be on the hook if they dump $1 million into something.
Right.
But so Wesley, thank you for the vote of confidence there.
Everything, don't blame me.
Thank you for not making me say it.
Call me if you lose everything.
Listen, here's what it's really like. Okay, if you call on a major retailer and you want to sell them a line of clothing, and they go, well, I really don't like it. Well, nobody knows what's going to sell. What happens is you test it, and sometimes the shit that we think is not going to make it, it goes absolutely bonkers, and the stuff we were sure we're going to hit a home run on. I mean, he was telling me a story the other day, which was fascinating. He had a friend that called him up, and I don't know, it was at midnight, and he told him, hey, I just bought this coin. I put $2,000 in it. He goes, what? Because it was a shit coin. So he hung up the phone on him. And 2 weeks later, the coin, he bought it at $2. It went to $40. He made himself $40,000. No, one of his friends. And he hung up on him.
It was Power Ledger.
He hung up on him.
Power Ledger just because he liked the logo. And he copied. and he called me at 2 a.m. and I hung up the phone. I was like, "You bought a coin because you like the logo."
I've done that shit before. I
And
bought,
he
I
made
bought a stock
$40,000
because
in
I
2
love
weeks
the
on a
name.
$2,000
I don't know if you've heard of
investment.
That's why the
Workhorse.
dog one does so well, man.
So that's
but I was
the
like,
interesting
it's
thing
called
to me.
Workhorse.
Is how many people
I'm
are talking
buying
about
it.
it.
It can
and
only
it's
go up.
getting bigger every day.
Right. I have a question for you, Leslie, that you might know more than I would. Listen, I'm king of staying in my lane and evolving a little bit quicker than a dinosaur, but I evolve like I just build off of what I eat what I kill. Right. So it sounds like you might be a little bit ahead of the game more than I am when it comes to alternative coins. And so, by the way, what Wesley's talking about and what you've been talking about, but I want to make sure we understand what the difference between a Bitcoin, the Bitcoin branches versus an alternative coin.
Correct.
All of these alternative coins, Dogecoin, that's an alternative coin. They're pretty much these random coins that people make up, and that people will go ahead and do an ICO around it or an
And
IPO.
there's over 8,000 of them.
Yeah.
So there's Bitcoin, and then there's 7,999 other coins.
Altcoins.
And most of them are complete
Garbage, dog shit. And which is what, by the way, I don't know if people know, Dogecoin was actually created as a joke.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, here's the joke the other night.
Doge was actually making fun of crypto.
Here's the
Yes.
other joke the other night. Wes is sitting in my house, and I said, I want to buy Dogecoin. He looks at me, he says, what are you, crazy? I said, no, seriously. I says, Cuban's talking about it. He's already sold all this shit out of his thing. Elon Musk is talking about it every day. And he said if he sells another $6 billion worth of Dogecoin, jerseys, hats, and caps, that this is going to go to $1. Now, if he says it's going to go to $1 and you're buying it at 5 cents and you put $1,000 in, what's the downside? There's really none.
Listen, what if it goes to 10 cents?
There's none.
Win.
Yes,
win.
win. That's a
It's going to
$100
$1.
ROI.
All right.
So
Mark,
I bought it, and then he bought it.
Mark, for people that want to get a hold of you, we got to get wrapped up. Where do they find you?
They find me at TransacTrade.com.
Okay.
They find me at phone number 813-727-2011. Or you can email me at mark@transacttrade.com. That's the word transact, then RADE.com. The middle T is shared. Or you can call Jeremy Griffin. He always
Don't start.
Good old friend of mine. He always knows how to get a hold of me. But yeah, man, please reach out. Thank you guys so much, everyone in this room, including Raju, Alyssa, Andrew, Brandon, my dude. Finally, yeah.
Wesley.
Listen, and if you're looking for Mark, Jeremy will take his calls up till 2 a.m. After that, we'll have to wait till the next morning.
Danny and Jeremy, thank you guys.
You got him, my man.
This has been a great experience.
You got him, my man.
My dudes.
Appreciate
my
it.
people.
Appreciate it. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. Until the next time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got a guy up there on TV. This is where all the action's gonna happen. Let's get it done, guys.
There you go. Feel that? You feel that, man? You fucking feel that shit? That's what I'm talking about, bro. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Come on, just get it. Get it.
That's more than 12.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's more than 12. That's right.
What's next?
What's
What's next?
Okay. You're on this side. You on this side.
I'm on this side.
You right here.
Let's go.
You right here.